Hey everyone, it's good to be back with you today. The topic for today: will the powers that be allow Presidents Trump and Putin to rebuild the relationship between Russia and the United States and move forward in a way that benefits both countries? That is the topic of the day. Now, there's a lot of you out there, like myself, who are really excited about the opportunity that the United States and Russia that can get along, that Putin and Trump can sit down, have a conversation, work out their differences, and then we can actually begin a series of trust-building measures and exercises that will help us to restore that relationship for the benefit of both countries and for the world. Here's the problem. There's a lot of people who don't want that to happen, both on the in the Russian side of the equation and in the American side of the equation. And it's a problem. Here in the United States, Donald Trump, of course, he's already talked to Putin and said that he would like to work together to defeat the terrorists in Syria. And as far as he's concerned, he sees it the same way Putin is, that any forces opposed to the government of Bashar Assad are terrorists, and therefore they need to be hit. That's good. As far as the Ukrainian situation and Crimea, I haven't heard Trump talk too much about it, but the people who advise Trump, the career people in the State Department, the Pentagon, the DOD, they despise Putin and Russia, and they do not want to see a warming up of relations. They want a new Cold War. They want to be rid of Putin. They want to try to implement measures that will weaken Putin and cause him to be thrown out of office. They would like to weaken Russia and create a lot of problems for them. So, this is where the problem is. Donald Trump is the man standing out there all alone. He doesn't have and won't find any support, really at all, from Republicans or Democrats or in any of the bureaucracies such as the DOD, the Pentagon, the CIA, any of these people. They're all really anti-Russian, anti-Putin. And this is going to create a problem. Putin also has, on his side, he has, in his equation, he also has powerful forces on both sides. The old commies never went away in Russia. They don't have enough political power to win any elections, but they still have some old hardliners also in their bureaucracies and in their military that are basically hardline old commies, and they can cause Putin political problems from his right. They can hit him from the right, and they always are, and making him look weak against the United States, weak against the Europeans, and they hit him pretty hard, pretty regularly. You don't hear much about that in the Western media, but that is the case. He also has the people to his left. They are the Atlanticists. These are essentially the New World Order. They're the globalists. They're the pro-Euro crowd. Many of them are part of the banking class, the international bankers, big business. They are aligned with anti-Putin forces in the United States and in Europe. They're essentially the globalists. They're the Soros crowd in Russia. And they are, again, they don't have enough numbers politically to win a major election, to defeat Putin at the ballot box, but again, they can create all sorts of problems for him coming from his left, and they try to appeal to the Russians who feel like they're part of Europe and want to be part of the European order or what have you. So, and they're a New World Order, folks, is what they are. So both Putin and Trump face a lot of political pressures from their left and from their right, who do not want to see a good relationship develop between the two. And there's some other issues. The main issue, the main thing that's really up Putin's crawl, is the fact that we have put these missile systems right on Russia's western border. We've lined their western border almost like a picket fence with missile systems, which we claim are defensive, which the Russians have pointed out can be converted into offensive weapons overnight, which is true. This is a major security threat to Russia, and Putin has every right to be worried about it and to respond to it, which is exactly what he has done, which is exactly what the plan was. You push Putin and you force him into doing something you want him to do so that you can demonize him for doing what he should do. Okay? But you have other issues too. Obviously, with the current European order led by Germany and France, there's a lot of Russia bashing going on. Of course, they have sanctions on Russia from Europe, but primarily because they were forced to by the United States. Now, if Trump were to lift sanctions on Russia, which I think he wants to do, it's just a matter of the political price he's going to pay to do it. Possibly at that point the Europeans say, good, well, the U.S. is not going to be putting the sanctions on, so they're certainly not going to lean on us and force us to put these sanctions on, so let's lift the sanctions. It would be good for us. And it would be good for the Russians as well. But the problem there is there are so many anti-Russian members of the EU who are going to fight that, including Merkel. And Germany pretty much is the head of the EU for all practical purposes. But you have two other issues going on as well on Russia's western border, and that is with Poland and Romania. Poland and Romania, I believe that they do have real issues. They really do worry about Russian invasion or Russian aggression or what have you. They know if things fall apart and we were to have a war with Russia versus the United States or Europe or what have you, which I think is ridiculous, but then again, I don't live in Poland or Romania, and I don't have the Russians on my eastern border. So I'm probably not in the right position to characterize that. I understand their security concerns in Poland and Romania. So even if Putin and Trump were to come to an agreement that Trump would pull those missile systems out of Eastern Europe, which I think, again, Trump will run into tremendous amount of pushback if he tries to do that. But even if he did do it, the Poles and the Romanians would simply go out and get another weapon system from someone else, and they would put the weapon systems there. So I don't think that, particularly on the northwestern border between Russia and Poland and Romania, I don't think you're going to see the missile systems going away, even if we pull those missile systems out. And this also puts a lot of pressure on Trump, because the military contractors, the defense contractors, are simply going to come to Trump and say, look, you can go ahead and pull our missile systems out of there and not renegotiate these contracts to upgrade these systems or maintain these systems. But if we don't put the systems there, if we don't get the money, someone else is going to get the money, because the Europeans, specifically the Poles and the Romanians, are going to put the missile systems there, period. Someone's going to get the money and put the weapons there. And so this is a dilemma that Trump will be facing. I think Putin understands that as well. So I think, of course, we do have the elections coming up in France, and I think that although I think it's a bit of a long shot right now, it is possible that if Marine Le Pen does win that French election, you could see a major shift. If Donald Trump does let go of the sanctions, tough politically to do, but if he does pull back on the sanctions from Russia, that could also move us in the right direction. What needs to happen between the United States and Russia is that there needs to be a series of trust-building moves and exercises between the two to rebuild the trust between them, because quite honestly, it's evaporated. It doesn't exist. The Obama administration destroyed any trust that there ever was between Russia and the United States, and it was very little. In the Bush administration, it was the trust but verified, but not a real warm partnership. So I think there's a lot of good things that could come out of a good relationship with the Russians. I want to see it. I know a lot of other people want to see it. I just believe at this time, not to be a downer, not to be a pessimist, but really to be a realist. I just want to point out that for those of us who really want to see something good happen in that regard, that it's probably not going to happen the way we would like to see it happen, because there's just too many pressures on both Putin and Trump for them to actually be able to do the things they would like to do. I know Trump wants to end the sanctions. I know he wants to work with Putin in Syria. We'll find out what his thoughts are on Ukraine and Crimea. I think his opinion may change after he talks with Putin. And of course, we'll have to see which way the winds blow in Europe. Right now they're blowing toward the populist direction, and we're just going to have to wait and see. I think in 2 years, when we get to the midterms, we'll have a lot better idea how these things are going to play out. So I think the situation with Russia will improve, definitely. But how much Trump and Putin will be able to move forward, even though they may come into full agreement on moving forward and really rebuilding that relationship. But they're both going to face so many different pressures from so many different directions that I think they're both going to find it extremely difficult to take things in that relationship where they would like them to go as quickly as they would like to get them there. I think it's going to be a slow move, because Trump's really going to have to clean out, like he said, drain the swamp in the State Department, the DOD, the Pentagon, because there's just so many anti-Russian, anti-Putin people there. The same in Europe. So it's not going to happen as quick as I would like to happen, but I do think we are at least moving in the right direction with Donald Trump. So, like I say, I'm not trying to be a pessimist. I'm just trying to be a realist. And so I think that the point of this video today is, yes, relations will improve between the United States and Russia, but even if Trump and Putin really want to move quickly to do some things, I think they're going to find it very, very difficult. And so things probably won't go as smoothly or as quickly as we'd like in rebuilding that relationship. But we'll keep watching it, I'll keep watching it, and I'll keep you all informed. So thanks for tuning in today. If you like the video, give me a like, share it with your friends on Facebook, social media, and I'll look forward to talking to you soon. Take care. Bye.